Now, on to our special awards. Up first is this year's Freedom Fighter, Vince Consiglio.
Freedom isn't free. As the current president of ABATE of Michigan, getting free and keeping free has turned into a life mission for Vince Consiglio. A true product of Detroit, Vince worked his way through college at all three of the big three. Vince bought his first kickstart Harley with pizza delivery money from Little Caesars. Taking his first big trip to Grand Bend, Canada, Vince gave a ride to Pam, a girl he'd known since grade school, who ended up being his wife and life soulmate. Later that summer, his factory job laid him off, so he took his first cross-country motorcycle ride to Las Vegas from Detroit, traveling Route 66. Over the next few years, Vince took more trips and owned more motorcycles. It was a love of riding motorcycles that threw Vince into ABATE of Michigan in 1975. The first legislative hearing on the helmet bill in 1976 was held on the legislative floor of the state capitol. Vince rode his Superglide with a sidecar in a mild snowstorm to testify for motorcyclists' rights. Facing a negative attitude and flurry of opposition that was well paid, we won that day only to see the bill die shortly after. Since Vince was in education, he got the task of finding out what motorcycle safety was and what ABATE could and should do. A number of ABATE directors became Motorcycle Safety Foundation instructors in 1979. They were able to run a small program through Wayne Westland schools. In July of 1980, Vince and Pam rode to Maryland for chief instructor training. MSF provided seed money to start the Detroit Metro program. Legislative success in motorcycle rider education followed. State success was largely due to a coalition of support including AAA, Michigan State Police, Michigan motorcycle dealers, and Michigan Farm Bureau insurance agents. The coalition got together later that year to help the helmet repeal legislation. Vince notes, Mike Faribaugh from ABATE of Indiana and Ed Youngblood talked me into joining AMA shortly after the 1982 bill was signed into law. Vince is currently a lifetime member of AMA. ABATE of Michigan has promoted, worked, and successfully passed 8 motorcycle safety bills into law since 1982. The Detroit Metro Regional Program is now run through Schoolcraft College and is celebrating 100,000 students being trained from 1981 to 2019. The sweetest legislative victory came in 2012. After 18 legislative sessions, 2 governor vetoes, and much thanks to ABATE of Michigan members, Michigan motorcyclists were finally free to decide. Let Those Who Ride Decide was celebrated by thousands of Michigan motorcyclists when the mandatory helmet law repeal was signed by Governor Snyder. Rider education, tougher licensing, and motorcycle awareness are the keys to reducing motorcycle fatalities in Michigan and across the country. The Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame salutes the work of Vince Consiglio and is proud to welcome him as part of the class of 2019.
Wow, what an honor it is to be here today. I couldn't be prouder as a son to introduce my father, Vince. He's taught me many things over the years, and as a youngster, he was just dad. You know, I never really knew what he did on a day-to-day basis with the ABATE or for the motorcycle industry. His passion for teaching and education has runs through his veins and has bled through into mine. Through dedication, perseverance, and humility, he taught me that you can do just about anything with those 3 things. So, couldn't be prouder today. I love you, Dad. Let me introduce to you Vince Consiglio.
my last son. Hey, Vince.
Hey, let's go, buddy. That's how we normally start speeches, but not this time. Gotta thank Paul for the introduction. I thought we were going to get 2 awards today, one for speeding and one for introduction. But unfortunately, the state police were busy with somebody else. Again, I want to thank all the Sturgis Hall of Fame people for the honor to be here. I love to hear the spot about the kids at school. When I would hold up a ruler, it was like showing a vampire across. One of the hardest things to teach was measurement. I taught 33 years in Detroit Public Schools besides what I do in abate and motorcycle safety. I want to thank, of course, she can't be here, my wife, Pam, for her support. That just couldn't do what I do without that. And we take care of her mom. She's 90 and struggling, so she's lived with us for about 9 years. So she can't be here today. I want to thank Abate of South Dakota for all the efforts that they put win the award. I'd like everybody from the MRF to stand up, Hardtail, and Dave and everybody else that's here. I want all of Michigan's neighbors from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania to stand up also because of all that support. So all the Yoopers, let's stand up and be recognized because without you, without the support that we have from all the students, never happened. I also want to thank the AMA members and have them stand up too because AMA was the original rights group. Okay. This Freedom Fighter Award is special because, as mentioned in the video, 16 legislative sessions. If a member asked me how many times I go to Lansing, Lansing's about 60 miles from my house one way. I couldn't count the times, sometimes 2 or 3 times in 1 week, working with the legislators, trying to get laws passed. The helmet bill, of course, was the biggest battle. As mentioned in the video, we also passed somewhere near 8 bills with legislation. So Jim Rhodes, stand up again. Butch Brown and Jerry Spomer, again, part of our legislative board team, getting stuff done. I became an MSF instructor in 1979, and one of the things about it was I learned to carry a stopwatch, so I won't be quite as long as I could be. It's important, though, for me to mention that I'd like to have all the people across the country that are here that ever taught somebody how to ride a motorcycle, stand up. Oh my gosh. You ever taught your family member, anybody, how to ride a motorcycle, please stand. That's what's going to keep this industry going. Keep the love of motorcycle going is teaching people how to ride. I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to train 100,000 students. That's just in the Detroit area alone. That's not the state of Michigan. I was kind of the stepchild of the state, so I held a unique position for a couple years. I was the titular state coordinator, which meant that they had to name somebody as the state coordinator, so they didn't want to, but they named me as the coordinator because I was the only one qualified. So, but we do support the state program, and we do encourage motorcycle safety throughout. I also refer to that as Pandora's box, because even though I've trained probably close to 1,000 students, 1,000 coaches, it's still hard. I call it Pandora's box because usually every other weekend I'm looking for a coach to work. So I appreciate the people across the country that have done that and will continue to do that. So again, it's a great honor to be here, and let those who ride decide.